This class is focused on the shoulders, but doesn't mean it won't involve other body parts. So we'll start off just lying down on the mat. Have a block handy. And come down to lie with your knees bent, soles of the feet on the mat. So let the hands rest on the body, the elbows on the mat. And just take a nice big slow breath in and slow breath out. And do that a few times, letting the breath come out the mouth. And you'll start to feel with those exhales, the back body just kind of relaxing into the mat, softening, melting, feeling heavier. And with that comes the opportunity to notice what's going on with you today. Whether it's muscularly, emotionally, mentally, this calm feeling of the back body into the mat, that exhale out the mouth, gives you this opportunity to check in. So just take one more moment here, taking notes in your brain of whatever is calling your attention, and return to that throughout your practice. And taking another big and slow breath in through the nose, letting it sigh out the mouth. Walk the feet to be hip distance in line with the frontal hip bones and the knees. They can be under the knees or a little further away. If you have knee discomfort when you come into bridge, step the feet away from your bum a little bit more. And we'll start by putting the hands down on the mat beside you. Draw the low belly down towards the mat. You'll feel the tailbone start to curl up towards the knees a little bit. And then continue that curling up as you lift your low back and middle spine off of the mat into a low or medium bridge. So you maybe have about a hand's width underneath you. Okay. Walk the feet a little bit closer so that you can start lifting the heels, and you'll find which direction you need for that. We're just going to lift and lower the heels maybe an inch, not all the way up. If you go all the way up as far as you can, like you're going to point the foot, your ankle's going to kind of lock out, and then you kind of have this little wiggle as you come in and out of it. So just an inch or so, lift up and lower down. Just the heels, doing a little heel bop. Keep drawing the low belly in and the tailbone towards the knees to keep the glutes and belly active. Notice if you're holding tension in your face or your shoulders. So we're just warming up the lower leg, adding a little bit of balance, if you will, to your bridge. And the next time you lift the heels, lower them as slowly as you can, keeping the hips where they are lifted. We'll reach the hands up to the sky. Make a stop sign with the right hand towards the ceiling, and then the left hand will pull back on the right fingers for a little wrist stretch and kind of reach up through the heel of the hand. Keep the belly pulling down towards the back. The glutes are nice and firm. Nice big breath. And then switch wrists, pulling back on the left fingers with the right hand. And another nice slow breath, but big breath. And then we'll bring the hands back to the mat. Slowly as you can, roll the spine down from upper back, middle back to lower back until the butt touches, and you can release a little bit, get a little wiggle. So it's not perfect. I can't roll each vertebrae, but some people can. All right, grabbing your block, place it between your knees. So it can be the skinniest way or the second version, but not the widest. That'll be a little bit too much. And then we're going to bring the knees over the hips. The knees can be bent about 90 degrees. And the hands will come behind the head, interlace the fingers, cupping the back of the skull just to support the weight of the head and not to pull on the neck or the head. And the elbows will point up to the sky. The belly still feels like it's going to pull down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lift the head and shoulders off of the mat as best you can. Hug the belly down, a little hug of the block with the knees. And we'll straighten the left leg up towards the sky. And it doesn't have to be all the way straight. And rebend the knee. Inhale as you lower the head and shoulders. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders. Hug the belly down, a hug to the block. Straighten the right leg up towards the sky. Rebend the knee. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift head and shoulders. Straighten that left leg. Bring the left hand to the front of the right thigh and give a little pressure into the thigh, and the leg will pull back into you. You'll feel the core kick on a little bit more. Return the hands, rebend the knee. Inhale to lower. Exhale as you lift. Right leg will straighten, right hand will come to left thigh. A little pressure, thigh into hand, hand into thigh, belly pulls down. Return the hand, rebend the knee. Inhale and lower. You can move the block, you can hug the knees. You can add a little bit of a rock in your knee hug or happy baby if you'd prefer. And then go ahead and roll to a side and press yourself up. All right, so we're going to come onto the hands and knees, but instead we're actually going to come down onto the elbows. So the knees are right under those frontal hip bones and the elbows are right under the shoulders. You can have the palms flat or you can interlace the fingers. If you have tighter or weaker shoulders, the interlaced will feel a little bit more supportive. Tuck your toes, lift the low belly, drop the head towards the mat, and then think about puffing up in the space between the shoulder blades. So it's kind of like a rounded back feeling. And then relax the shoulder blades towards each other. And then puff up between the shoulder blades. Relax the shoulder blades towards the spine. One more time. Separate the shoulder blades, relaxing the head, puffing up there, tucking your toes. See if you can lift the knees. They can come just an inch or they can come all the way up into dolphin pose. Draw the belly and the ribs together. And then lower the knees all the way down a little bit wider and release down into a child's pose. You can turn the palms up. You can put them under your forehead, back by the heels, wherever they're comfortable. Since this is a shoulder class, another option would be putting the elbows on the mat, the fingertips or the palms together, and then bringing them back behind your head to like the base of your neck. So it's a little stretch for the underneath armpit side of the shoulder. If you'd like to go there, take another breath. All right, release the hands down. And we'll come to stand at the front of the mat for our first sequence. Okay, so blocks can always be handy if you'd like to use them at the top of the mat. Find mountain pose, a little rocking forward and back on the feet to find that equal stance between the ball and the heel of the foot. Okay. Ground down through the tailbone, draw the belly in, a little softness to the knees just so they're not locked backwards. And then the palms can face slightly forward, the shoulders drawing back without the ribs popping forward. Take a breath. And then inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, let the knees bend as you fold forward. The hands come to the mat or blocks or fingertips to the mat. Step the right foot back, lower the knee under the hip, and release the top of the foot back. Come upright in your low lunge or your 90-90 lunge. The arms are going to dangle beside you. The legs draw to center, the belly pulls in, and we're going to shoulder roll. So draw one shoulder up to the ear and back, and then rotate the other side. So you're alternating shoulder rolls, getting the rib cage involved, the thoracic spine involved. And then slowing it down, we'll bring the hands to the mat. Step the left knee down next to the right. Turn your fingers can face forward towards the top of the mat, or you can turn them to face the sides of the mat. We're just going to rock side to side. So either version, your wrists are getting a little bit of movement, and you're getting some stability in each shoulder by rocking side to side. All right. Come back to stillness. Come to sit down on your right side. So you're coming down on your right hip, and we're going to come down on the right elbow. Bring your left hand to your right shoulder and start to feel the shoulder draw away from your hand so it comes towards the spine behind you, your shoulder blade. You can keep the hand there, or you can have it down in front of you for support, and the legs are stacked. You're going to draw the belly in and lift the hips off of the mat so your shoulder stays nice and stable. Don't let it roll forward, and then tap the hips back down. We're just going to do 3 lifts. Lift the hips a little bit. Good. Tap down. It doesn't have to be a big lift. 1 more lift and lower. And then come down into a child's pose. Take a big breath there, doing what's comfortable for your shoulders. And then we'll do the other side. So coming back up to quadruped tabletop, we'll step the right foot forward and come into our low lunge. So the left knee is under the hip, the toes are flat if that works for you. And we'll shoulder roll here. So hug the legs towards the center, belly in, the tailbone down, and roll one shoulder back at a time. You can add the elbows a little bit more if that gives you a little more movement. And then slowing it down, we'll bring the hands down, the right knee next to the left. And again, fingers facing forward or to the sides, and just rock side to side. See if you can hold the belly muscles in as you rock side to side, maybe going a little bit more in one finger, one palm starts to want to lift, adding a little bit more stability to each shoulder by decreasing your support system there. And then we'll slow that back down, come down to sit on the left hip, and the left elbow will come down right under the shoulder. And again, you can put the right hand there to feel the shoulder draw away from the hand and towards the spine down the back. That hand can stay there or come in front of you for support. And then we'll lift the hips up and lower down. So you're lifting and lowering 3 times at the hip, but your focus is on the shoulder, not rolling forward or up to the ear. Keeping it in a nice, neutral, stable position. And then another option for child's pose. Nice big breath. All right, come back to the top of the mat to stand. We'll do 1 or 2 sun salutations, just following our breath. Each movement is with a breath. So finding mountain pose, inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend the knees to fold. Step or walk to plank pose. Take an inhale, lower the knees. Squeeze the glutes on, and exhale, slowly lower down. Release the toes back, use the glutes. Inhale, lift the head forward to come up, draw the shoulder blades back. And then exhale, lift up and back into downward facing dog. Coming through tabletop or plank. To get there, take a breath. Take another inhale as you soften the knees and look a little forward. And exhale, walk or step the feet towards the hands, as many steps as you need, coming into that half fold with a long spine. Exhale it out at the top there. And then inhale, come all the way to stand, reaching the arms up to the sky. And fold right back down as you exhale. Hands will plant under the shoulders, step or walk to plank. Lower the knees, inhale. Exhale, slowly lower with control. Inhale, lift into low cobra, any variation, but draw the chin in a little bit. Shoulder blades back and down. And exhale into down dog. Take another breath here. And then we'll walk or step the feet forward to the hands. Coming just into our half fold here. Grabbing blocks if you'd like. We're going to step the right foot back into a lunge. So your right hand can come on the floor or to a block beside your left foot. And we're going to twist. So the left arm will reach open to the sky. And this bottom shoulder, again, it wants to draw towards the ear or round forward. See if you can draw it back, opening up that collarbone space in front. You can gaze down, will help the balance more. And then we're going to bring this left forearm to the left thigh. Spin your right heel behind you down. And then reach the right arm up and over the ear as you turn your chest to face the right side of your mat for a warrior variation. And then using your abdominals, lift yourself up. Pivot the feet to face, both of them face angled outward for goddess. Okay, I'm going to turn around so you can see this. So you're going to bring your hands in fist and the knuckles are going to touch in front of you in goddess. Hug the belly in, the tailbone's down. So it can also be more of a wide chair if you need to get that nice neutral spine. We're going to reach the right arm up, the thumb points out and open, and the left arm will reach down, out and open. And then the opposite, so we'll bring them together in the center, switch the arm that goes up and the arm that goes down. Good, and keep going back and forth there. So this is a PNF pattern for the shoulders. Draw the shoulder blades together when you open the arms. Good, one more each way. So a PNF pattern is a functional movement, like things you would do in the kitchen, like you would grab a dish from the sink and put it in the dishwasher, or from a cabinet. So it's that kind of a motion. Go ahead and bring the hands down to your hips. You can pivot the heels out and fold forward. You can have a bend to the knees. You can just let the arms hang, or you can hold opposite elbows and kind of give a little wiggle side to side like a rag doll hanging kind of feel, whichever feels better. All right. We'll turn to face the front of the mat again, stepping the feet together, grabbing your block if you need it. Coming back to our lunge, we'll step the left foot back. Left hand will line up next to the right foot with or without your block. And that right arm will open up to the side. Draw the bottom shoulder away from the ear. Relax the head a little bit if that feels good. Hug the belly and ribs in. And then we'll bring right forearm to the right thigh, spin the left heel down and lift that left arm over the ear. Pull up a little bit through those right ribs. So there's not a ton of weight on your right arm. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, we'll pivot the feet and turn to the side for that goddess. Fists come together in the front, tailbone down, and we'll open up the arms, the thumbs point away. Bring it back to center. We did 3 each way. Open. Center, open, draw the shoulder blades back, open, close, open. I've already lost track of how many. We'll do one more in each side. Open and switch one more the opposite way. And then hands can come to hips. The heels can turn out. The knees can bend and you can fold again, either just hanging or holding opposite elbows. But either way, release the neck for a minute. Let the shoulders hang for a moment. So we don't want to overload them with our shoulder clasp, but we want them to get a little more active. All right. Turn back to face the front of the mat. Step the feet together and come to stand. We'll stream these 2 sequences together. All right, finding that mountain pose. Very small changes, nothing too drastic from what we've already done. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips to fold forward. Fingertips or blocks here. Step back with the right foot and lower the knee under the hip. Keep the toes tucked this time. Come upright. Draw everything into the center and then give those shoulder rolls. So the movement is from the belly button up and the stillness, the stability is from the belly button down. So holding nice and stable in that lower body. Again, you can add a little bit more of an elbow swing if that helps you feel the movement more, if that feels better. All right, here's our first small change. We're going to come into a modified plank. Sorry. So we'll bring the hands down in front. Bring the left knee to meet the right. And then we're just gonna wiggle the knees back until you're in a modified plank. Shoulders are right in line with the wrists. And just like we did before, rock side to side, but we're adding a little bit more core work in by having the knees further back from being right under the hips. All right, walk the knees back in, stop rocking. Roll onto that right hip, right elbow down. Right under the shoulder, draw that shoulder back behind, not behind, back towards the spine. And again, that front hand can be in front of you or on that shoulder. Lift the hips just one time. Slowly lower back down. Turn onto your bum. The hands come behind you as you kind of sit with the hands holding you up. The fingertips can face the bum or they can face out to the side. Draw the shoulders back, and then we'll lift the hips here. So squeezing the glutes, you don't have to get straight and parallel lines here, but just watching that you're not sinking into the shoulders. Draw them back, and then lower down. Turn back around. Okay, grab that block if you were using it for twisted crescent. The left foot will step forward. The right hand will be next to the foot, and that right foot is back behind you with the knee lifted, lifting up through that left arm, drawing that right shoulder back still. And then we'll bring left forearm to the thigh. Back heel will spin down, and that top arm will come over the ear as you turn to the right a little bit more for our warrior extended variation. And then come upright, pivot the heels for goddess or a wide chair. We'll just do 2 PNFs. So the fists come together in the center, they open wide, strong shoulder blades together, and then come back to center. Open the opposite arm up and down. Back to center, one more each direction. You can add a pulse if you'd like to the hips. And then back to center, hands to hips. Pivot the heels out. You can bend the knees as much as you need and fold forward, taking any variation here, adding movement, hanging, keeping that long spine, side lunging, anything that feels good right now. All right, we've got one more side to go. Start to turn back to the front of the mat. Block is in reach. We'll step the feet together. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hinge at the hips as you fold. Stepping back with the left foot this time, lower the knee, but not the toes. Come upright, the arms will hang down, and we'll roll the shoulders one more time. Nice and stable in the lower half. Getting a few clunks in it this time. Means it's moving. All right, modified plank. We'll bring hands down, the knees meet. Hands right under the shoulders, and we'll slowly inch those knees back. It doesn't have to be far. You can find your comfort level, and then you'll rock side to side, really hugging up in the belly. Giving a little more work to those shoulders. Watch that you're not rounding the upper back here. Draw the chest forward a little. All right, walk the knees back in. Roll onto that left outer hip. Left elbow will come down right under the shoulder. The thumb can face up. That shoulder draws back away from the ear. And then we'll lift the hips. Just lift one time, pause. Shoulder says hello. And then lower back down. Turn onto your bum, hands behind you. And again, they can face your tush or they can face out to the side. And then you're going to squeeze the belly in, squeeze the glutes to lift up. Draw the shoulder heads backward. And then lower down. Turn back around to face the front of the mat, grabbing that block if you need it. We're going to step the right foot forward for our lunge. The left hand will be next to it, maybe with a block. Left foot is back behind us, the knee is lifted, and the right arm reaches towards the sky. So you're twisting towards that leg. And then we'll bring this right forearm to the thigh, spin the back heel down. Reach that left arm up and over the ear for extended variation. Relaxing the neck down might feel good. All right, our last goddess pose. We'll bring that top arm up and over, pivot the heels, fists come in front. All right, open wide. You can add a pulse down if you want. You don't have to. Open. One more each direction. One down, one up. And the last one. And then back to center, hands to hips. Turn the heels out. Bend the knees as much as you need as you fold forward. And again, taking any variation here. Elbows, holding opposite elbows to hang, maybe to rock. Making it more dynamic, adding some long spine side lunges, getting those inner thighs a little bit. Next week will be about the hips. All right. Last time we're going to turn back to face the front of the mat and sit. Okay, coming all the way down onto your back, we'll do a little cool down. Have the knees bent as you lie down. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh. So make sure that little pointy ankle bone is past the thigh so you're not pushing on the ankle joint. You can stay right here and push that left leg forward with the left hand. Get a little opening in the front of the hip, drawing the belly in. Or you can hold on to the back of the right leg and pull the whole figure forward towards the chest. The right knee is going to try to come towards the middle of your chest, but you want to try to keep it in line with your right shoulder so it stays in its own little lane there. And take a nice slow breath. One at a time, bring the feet down, and we'll switch sides. Bring the right ankle across the left knee, adding that pressure forward with the right hand, if you'd like, for that opening in the front of the right hip, or the option to grab hold of the back of the left leg as you draw the knee towards the shoulder and get the outer hip to open more. One more nice slow breath here. One at a time, return the feet to the mat. Draw the knees into the chest. You can add a little rocking. You can reach the feet up to the sky or do happy baby if you'd prefer. Or of course, stay in stillness. And then we'll bring the feet back to the mat. The knees are still bent. We'll bring the feet a little bit wide. So maybe as wide as your mat if you don't have a crazy wide mat. Take an inhale, the arms will come wide on the ground beside you. And then as you exhale, slowly let the knees fall towards the left. And once they've gone as far as they're comfortable, draw the belly in and just a little bit. Feel as though that right leg, you could draw the knee towards the mat a little bit more. So you're putting a little more energy into that right leg. And then draw both knees back up to center as you inhale slowly. And over to the other side as you slowly exhale, giving a little more energy now to that left leg towards the mat. So it doesn't touch necessarily, but you're getting a little more opening in the outer edge and front of that left hip by kind of pulling actively the knee towards the mat. And the belly in, that helps too. Bring both legs back up to center, adding any props you would like under the knees, behind the head. If you'd like a little shoulder opening, you can put a blanket roll behind the shoulder blades, along the spine or the other way. And then take that nice big breath once you're settled in there for Shavasana, letting it out the mouth with a sigh. Feel everything just melt down, feel the shoulders soften. Separate the backs of the teeth to release the jaw. And furrow the brow. Take a few more natural breaths here, letting yourself be still. And then without moving any body parts just yet, start to deepen your breath. The next inhale, maybe adding a wiggle to the fingers and toes. Or of course, always staying in Shavasana longer. Maybe start adding in the wrist and ankle movement. I like to roll my thighs in and out, my toes in and out. One at a time, starting to bend the knees. If you're on any props, gently rolling to the side to take them out. And then however you'd like to get there, slowly and gently bringing yourself up to sit. The eyes can stay closed or barely cracked open. Find a comfortable seat with the spine tall. Rest the hands on the thighs or the knees for a moment and just notice how you feel around your shoulders. Do they feel more open across the collarbones? Do they feel awakened? Bring the hands together to the heart center, the palms together. Take a breath in through the nose. Sigh it out the mouth. Feel the shoulders soften, maybe the chin bows slightly. Thank you for joining me in this practice this morning. I hope you have a beautiful day, full of happiness, health, and peace.